Good evening, YouTube. Craggy again. I'm doing another Q&A. So I've got my phone with all my questions. I think that's all the questions. Um, Lots of people are doing non-bot Q&As, and I like that. It makes sense. But really, we're all here about the robots. We're all here about Transformers. So I kind of wanted to do a question about, well, a question and answer session about Transformers, about robots, because that's kind of what we're all here for. Now, most of the questions came from Christopher Perry, so unless I say otherwise, they're from him. Um, Hello, Chris. Right, first question: who is the best third party so far, and why? Fans Project or Make Toys? Make Toys. Fans Project probably are the best. They have some really in ingenious transformations and are doing some really nice things. They've got their Headmasters line. They've got the Dinobots now, and I've got like City Commander, Protector, the Fans Project Bruticus over there. Um, Lots of good stuff come out of there. But Make Toys certainly nice as well. I'm awaiting Quantron being in stock and looking forward to getting my hands on that. And I have their mini bots and I have their swerve and gears and a lot of other stuff. I really like them. Also, kind of unique toys are coming in. Like KFC, okay, but unique toys are certainly bringing it with their Mania King anyway, and their Sharkies and things like that. It's nice to see a third party doing slightly different stuff. Who is my fave G1 toy? I really like G1 Optimus. I really like G1 Prowl. But I'm probably going to say Snapdragon. I never had Ape Face, but I got Snapdragon when I was a kid, and I love that he's a headmaster that has the robot head and the beast head as like the headmaster. So the headmaster's both mode heads. The little robot goes in a cockpit, and it makes sense because he's a jet, and he's really posable for a G1. He's got some badass guns, and he's a dinosaur thing and a jet and nice colours, and he's pretty cool. Another one would be Hunger, the Terracon combiner leader. Um, he's he's really cool. He was one of my favourite G1s. I think probably just because of the legs. The transformation also gives him a little bit of like shoulder back and forth pivot. And he had a badass gun, big shield that went on his arm. Some of those, one of those. I have a real soft spot for Prowl as well. That's why I got the MP. Um, but probably one of those three or four. Which is the most adult fiction out of all the continuities, both TV and comics? Kiss players? Depends on your definition of adult. The most grown up is probably the current IDW stuff because it's really delving into them as characters as opposed to just toy adverts. There's been some nice stuff done outside of that, and I kind of like the old Dreamwave stuff for some aspects of it. But I'd say IDW right now are probably doing the most interesting things with the characters. What figure? Oh, this is John Grieve. What figure did you buy that you hated at first but then grew to love? Also your favorite G1 ep. Okay. Um, Figure did I buy and I hated and then I grew to love it? I don't know. I mean, if I think I'm gonna hate a figure, I usually don't buy it. Um, Something that I bought and I thought it was gonna be good and then it wasn't, or I bought because it was cheap probably. Laserback from the Beast Hunters line. I got it because it was home bargains, it was cheap, and I played with it once and it was kind of average. It was a bit disappointing. And then I kind of like him. He's certainly grown on me. Just I think because he reminds me of Slag from the Dinobots. He's got that kind of bulkiness, and the head is quite nice. And yeah, probably him. What your favorite G1 episode? Oh, favorite episode G1 cartoon. I really like the Rebirth. It's a really good three-parter. Return of Optimus Prime's really good as well. I like the animation in that. Call of the Primitives has the best animation probably, and I have a soft spot for Only Human, just because Cobra Commander shows up in it. I think mostly, and Hot Rod gets some bedroom action. Um, Dave Shotton, how do you spell Transfermaz? Going by your question, Trensfermaz. And another one from Dave. If you could only have one official Hasbro Transformers line from 1984 to present day in your collection, which would it be and why? So you're saying the whole line. If I could have the whole line of one official Transformers line, what one would it be? Unicron Trilogy doesn't count as a whole line, just because then I'd get Energon and Cybertron and one or two nice Armada things. Um, if you're counting Beast Wars and Transmetals as all one line from the start of Beast Wars right to the end, probably that. I'm not super G1y. I love the characters and they're my main Transformers characters, but the toys, nah. Same like totally this in the whole line that got me into the thing, but um, that's got the most, I suppose. So G1 would be it'd be up there. It'd be a close second probably. But I think probably Beast Wars. Then I'd not have any jets or any planes or any cars or any fire trucks or any boats. I don't know. I'm gonna say Beast Wars, but the Unicorn Trilogy has some really like wide variety of things. If you count classics and everything in the classic style as one, then that obviously. Um, but there were so many different lines, and it include my classics collection includes movie stuff, Cybertron, Energon, probably. Like my classics collection is like anything basically, and third party. So um, I'm gonna say Beast Wars because there's so many nice toys. Michael Taylor says, to go back to an earlier debate, G1 Prime or Murder Prime. G1 Prime was kind of murdery. Like, he wasn't, like, there was more to him, but he would kill stuff. He would kill people and things. There was a lot of people died in G1. Cartoons and comics. Optimus Prime goes in the movie, Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost. And he goes and fucking destroys half of the Decepticons. Now, okay, a lot of them maybe weren't dead, but they were pretty messed up. But yeah, G1. I'm not a movie fan particularly, and it's certainly going by looks. G1 Prime owns compared to Movie Prime, and just because there was so much more depth to the character. George Miku, George asks, should Takara make a movie masterpiece Lockdown or movie masterpiece Galvatron? Hmm, not a movie fan particularly. Haven't seen Area of Effect, but going by what I've seen of the toys and what I've seen of the movies and so on, Masterpiece Lockdown would probably quite interest me. Um, that said, although I think the movie Generations Voyager Galvatron looks a bit poo, people's customs of it make it look fantastic. So if we could get a fully painted, um, like actually transforming rather than he's got a truck on his back and it opens up and he hides inside of it, movie Galvatron, that would probably be pretty nice. I'd probably be up for that. Um, okay. Benjamin Bishops asks, Soundwave or Shockwave? Which wave? Tidal wave. You could put him in there as well. Uh, Going by G1 and its offshoot versions, I want to say Soundwave just because he had all his little guys. Visually, possibly Shockwave? Robot mode anyway, but I think Soundwave. Soundwave's more iconic. Like people that don't know Transformers and aren't into the Transformers would say, "Oh yeah, that one that transformed into a tape deck or a Walkman." He wasn't a Walkman, but more or less. And he had the little guys that popped out his chest. I think it's got to be Soundwave. Soundwave in superior, Shockwave inferior. George Miku, hard one. It's not really a question, but I'm gonna take it as a question. Hard one, Grimlock. Christopher Perry, RID or MTME? Rid or Mitumti? More than meets the eye. Easily. Like, Robots in Disguise is good, and it would have been so much better. Like, if there wasn't James Roberts and Alex Milne doing More than meets the eye, Robots in Disguise would have been the best Transformers comic that had come out in years. But there was More than meets the eye, and that is head and shoulders above not just every Transformers comic, I think, probably, but above the majority of comic books, above the majority of serialized storytelling. Like, I'm a super huge More Than Meets the Eye fan, and I, yeah, that's my book. That's my Transformers. Jack Kerr, Armada Starscream versus Movie Starscream versus TF Prime Starscream. Which one do you think will win? In a fight, it depends what universe it's in. In the movie verse, they'd all die, because they'd all explode. Um, in terms of which character do I like more, I haven't really watched Armada, but apparently Starscream has some cool, like, almost Beast Wars Dinobot-y honor sort of system going on, and he helps out the good guys sometimes, and he has his swords, so maybe him character-wise. TF Prime Starscream really quite cool and has a nice toy. And if we're going to toys out of each one, the one I would want would be TF Prime Starscream. I have the Dark Energon version of the first edition. It's really, really nice. So that would win in the best toy department. Although Generations Armada Starscream's really nice as well. I really do like him. Um, I'm going to say this is my old like sport fighting games like Street Fighter, Tekken, etc. Wrestling. I always want the one that looks the nicest to win, the one the best dressed to win. Um, so I'm going Armada. Christopher Perry asks, "What is the best friend of Ironhide?" Soft pillow. Luke Hollywood asks, "Do you think Astrotrain is overly conscious of his weight, as everyone makes fun of him that he can? If everyone makes fun that he can carry the entire Decepticon in his bum." I don't. I don't think people would like. I don't think he would think that's a bad thing. I think Astrotrain, Astrotrain would be happy that he can get fit a lot of junk in his trunk. I think he'd be the Kim Kardashian of Decepticons space bus. I think he'd be I think he'd be quite happy that people recognise the fact that although he's a normal sized guy and he turns into a train, he can also turn into a space shuttle that's 10 times the size of a train, maybe. It's big anyway, and is big enough to fit, well, probably 10 or so Decepticons sitting down. And then, about 15 minutes later, probably not even, but 10 minutes later maybe, he's able to fit everyone in him, all walking around, and have Devastator form inside him. I think Astro Train would be overtly conscious, but in a bad way, in a self-conscious, overly pleased with himself sort of way. Now, uh, I then said that I would be doing this after dinner, and I haven't had dinner yet, but I've had some drinks. And Christopher Perry just fired on with like a million questions. Jet formers or car formers? Car formers, probably. I like my jets. You can do a lot of nice stuff with a jet, but I probably enjoyed car formers more. They certainly scale better with everything else. I mean, scale's not a huge thing to me, but yeah, you probably get more variation on car formers. Your jet formers generally, the jet nose cone sits on the back or on the belly. Cars, you get car front, car chest boobs, and you get cars that fold completely down, and you get cars that sit on the back, and you get cars that fold around, and the arms fold out from the front, and there's a lot more variation. Who wins, Galvatron or Grimlock? Galvatron has won more fights against Grimlock than Grimlock has won fights against Galvatron, I think. Um, yeah, probably. I don't know. Um, it depends who's writing it and why they're writing the fight. Why are they fighting? Who wins, Omega Supreme or Predaking? Predaking. Like, that's not even in doubt. Predaking would just fly away somewhere. Omega Supreme would transform and follow them as a rocket, and then land and explode, and that's it. Fight over. Um, Omega Supreme, like he's relatively cool, but Predaking, man, he's still using my name. Christopher Perry, who is the stupidest bot in the TF verse? Stupidest, as in he's really dumb. He's like he's missing a couple of screws. Um, maybe Swerve, or Whirl, or loads of them. Anyone on the Lost Light, pretty much. Um, Stupidest, as in I think to myself whenever I see this character, that's fucking stupid. Um, Something out of the movies. Possibly Wheelie out of the movies. Um, Not G1 Wheelie. He's a badass. Um, nah, I don't know. There's a lot to pick from. What is the most I ever paid for a TF toy, and do I regret it? Now that is a question. Probably, if you count as a whole, the Fans Project Bruticus. Right now, and no, I don't. Um, Quantron, when he arrives, will be the most overall, and I don't know yet because I don't have it, but I don't think so. It looks pretty cool. Um, the most for a single figure, I think, has to be Hexatron, probably, and he's ace. He's amazing. Um, as far as like a standard sort of Hasbro retail type figure with no add-ons and stuff, Master, no, maybe probably a masterpiece. Probably masterpiece Grimlock, and definitely not. He's amazing. Um, and last question, Christopher Perry. What is your all-time most treasured grail that you own, and what are you missing from your collection that would make your heart rejoice? What am I really chuffed that I own? All six classic Seekers, and I've got the first release of Starscream and Sideswipe. I have had too much to drink. Starscream and Skywarp. I've got the first versions of those. I've got the Generations Thundercracker and Thrust. I've forgotten the other one. Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, Thrust, Dirge. I got Generations Dirge as well, and I just got Henkei Ramjet. Because he had red wings. Hasbro decided, oh, we'll only paint the wings red on the outside. So possibly them. I'm really chuffed I got Mania King in the vintage colours. But I'm reluctant to say something I've just bought, like, within the last month, because I've just bought it within the last month. Omega Prime's really nice. I really am glad I've got an Omega Prime. Mm, I don't know. There, I kind of like 95% of the bots that I own. I'm really happy with and wouldn't want to get rid of. I mean, I probably could if I had to. If it was you've got no rent money and you have to sell robots to survive, then I mean I'd, I'd find some to get rid of. But um, As it is, no, there's, I mean, the majority of them I have, I'm happy to have, and would be unhappy to get rid of. Is there anything that I really, really wanted for a long time and finally picked up? Again, another auto assembly bot, Rampage from Beast Wars. Actually, Beast Wars Transmetal Tarantulas and Cheetor. Those two I was after for ages, and I never ended up getting them. And Tigerhawk and Dragon Megatron as well. And I never got them, and I never got them. Rampage I seen for like £3 in Tesco's. Was it Rampage? I seen it was either Rampage and possibly Tigerhawk, or it was Transmetal Megatron and Tigerhawk. And I seen them for like £3. £3 in Tesco's, because the Tesco's that my dad worked in were getting rid of them. So I would have probably got them for less than that. And I was a dumbass and was like, well, I'm not buying no toys. I got to save my money for going out and getting drunk and so on and so forth. And I didn't get them because I mean I was relatively poor at the time and had a very small amount of money. I was still in school. I didn't have any money coming in regular. So I passed on those and spent my money going out and having fun at the weekend. And I finally got them, and I was really happy because I finally got. Okay, I paid um, £25 for Rampage. So if Rampage was one of the ones that I seen for £3, how many times is that? 10? Not 10. Nearly 10. Like 8.5 times. I don't know. I'm not a maths man. Yeah, Rampage probably one of the ones that I'm really happy that I got, and I got them complete and so on. Transmetal Megatron as well. Uh, Transmetal Cheetor and Transmetal Rampage, and sorry, Transmetal Tarantulas. I've always wanted those guys. I loved the cartoon. As much as I grew up with G1, Beast Wars was so much better in so many regards. Now, what am I missing from my collection that would make my heart rejoice? So many things. So many things. Um, actually, when I seen this video, this question posted, I had a thought. I was like, what really, really would make my day getting a hold of? And there's a lot of new stuff coming out and third party stuff that I think, yeah, I really, really want that. There's some stuff that has never been made or isn't out. Signal Lancer, Stampede, some sort of classics, Carnivac. But as far as things that actually exist, that like I would give proper like I'll squeeze your bum a little hugs to the person that gave me them. Um, Botcon Pyro. I'm not an uber sort of G1 maniac, or rather end of G1, G2 maniac, G1.5. I do like a lot of the stuff, but again, it's G1 to like modern era. I prefer modern stuff. So Botcon Pyro or a custom of Botcon Pyro out of hotspot that had the face with a face mask and all that going on. That would be amazing. Um, RC, honestly, like the Hasbro RC that's coming out, it doesn't look all that good, but I have to have it because, okay, I'm the same age as Transformers. I'm 30 now, and I remember like seeing Transformers all my life, pretty much. Certainly all my formative years. There was a cartoon that I pretty much only watched on video from a video shop. I rented the videos, comics, toys, Ladybird books, annuals, and so on and so forth. Um, but the amount of times I must have watched Transformers the movie, and I could have bought any one of the main characters except RC and Rebirth as well. I'm a big fan of that. RC's pretty integral to the plot, and she's not in toy form at all until basically 30 years later. I mean, I know that she only debuted in the movie, so she's not 30 years old. But I mean, I think RC is that Hasbro releasing a pink and white RC that turns into a futuristic, the far future of 2005, futuristic sports car. That's got to be like something that anyone that's grown up with Transformers from G1 era has wanted. And I'm amazed and slightly ashamed that it's taken this long to get an official one. I know there's been third party ones, and I know there's still third party ones coming out, and some of those look good. The Mastermind Collections one, it looks really nice, but it's not for me because I've got too many other things that I need to spend money on. Um, were it the same price as the Hasbro one, I would have a hard decision on which one to get. I'd probably get both. Um, but Hasbro's RC has been a long, long time coming, and I'm very glad that we're finally getting a hold of it. That it will be a good day when that comes through my letterbox, or when the man knocks on my door and I'm not in, and he leaves a little card through it that tells me I have to go and pick it up a day later somewhere else. But yeah, Pyro or RC, if there was like an updated boss or Scram, I really loved Scram. Little accelerator guy. It was a pretty crap toy, to be entirely honest. Like, it didn't do an awful lot, but I had a real soft spot for that. And if there was a modern version, I'd I'd have it. I'd be all over it. Um, yeah, I don't know. Um, the obvious answer is Fort Max or something of that along that lines. I don't have the new Metroplex. I do like him. I'd be happy to get one, but I don't feel particularly like I'm missing out. Possibly some kind of exclusive. I know Botcom Pyro's relatively exclusive. Um, the what was it? I think it was BotCon did a Tigertron out of, or Tigatron rather, out of the Beast Wars Metals Ravage So it's Transmetal Cheetor retooled to be Ravage, to have the beast head as a robot head, and he's painted up all white and like bluey metallic plastic, or bluey metallic chrome rather, and white and blue and green, and that that might be really nice. Like I'd be very happy to get my hands on that. The Ravage, not so much, although it'd be awesome. I seen one at Auto Assembly for 90 quid, and I was like, I have the normal one, I have the Armada one, which is black and purple and red. It's close enough. Transmetal Cheetor in the Fox Kids colours, the red and silver. That's really nice as well. I'd like to get that at some point. Those recent Asia exclusive Seekers, there was the Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, and there was the Coneheads as sets of three. Those would be really nice, but they were just too expensive for me to go and double dip on 5 out of the 6. So I didn't get them, but they did look really nice, and it was, I didn't want to buy one set because then I'd have 3 that weren't right, if you know what I mean. Um, so maybe something like that. Or if Masterpiece Rodimus, and I mean the Japanese one, in the correct colours with the trailer, which I don't care about, but the car in the correct colours, if that would come out in a version that was guaranteed not to break, then that would be the one I would want. That would be my grail. So here's the thing about Transformers, and this was raised at Auto Assembly as being a fundamental part of Transformers, is that every time you get something, or that you're getting close to completing a collection, Hasbro or Takara or the third parties move the goalposts. So you think, oh, I've nearly got the season 1 cast complete, or I've nearly got the season 2 or I've got season 3, or the movie cast, or I've got all the dinosaurs that could possibly be, or whatever. As soon as you think you're getting completion in a collection, something else comes along, something changes, there will be a slightly new size, or a new version of something, and you'll go, I want all the rest like that. So, to quote everyone that Simon Furman's ever wrote, it never ends. And it never does end. And you're probably thinking this Q&A is never going to end. But actually, this is it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for asking me questions. Good night. Have a good time. Enjoy the robots.